I admit it, bros, the waifu wars are over. Nagatora, dead. Komi, deceased. Rem, go back in the closet. It's safe in there, little baby. I won't let Subaru hurt you again. My Dress Up Darling is one of those shows that unless you kept your ear to the ground like a seismograph and listened for the screeches from the manga mole people, you may have been blindsided by the sudden appearance of one very loud, very popular, Maji Yabai cosplay-loving high schooler whose complete disregard for the laws of physics would have Sir Isaac Newton himself screaming in frustration. What the fuck? But underneath that veneer and initial clickbait appeal, the story of Marin Kitagawa and Gojo Wakana, I will not make the same joke as every other anime YouTuber.
Gojo-kun.
Is actually one that remains relatively wholesome. Sure, the fan service is off the charts in episode 2, but unlike another show I talked about last year, the fan service here serves its purpose in highlighting specific aspects of Marin and Gojo's character arcs. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What is a dress-up darling? Well, after running the algorithm and consulting with NASA scientists, I can indeed say, with all possible certainty, that a dress-up darling is without a doubt.
Hey Siri, what is a dress-up darling?
Marin Kitagawa is 15 years old, you degenerate scum. I have alerted the authorities and they are—
This story follows Gojo Wakana, a loner with a quiet disposition whose passion lies in Hina dolls, traditional Japanese dolls. He works at his gramp shop and diligently hones his craft while also being deeply embarrassed about his hobby. Meanwhile, Marin Kitagawa is a bubbly extrovert who wears her hobbies and passions on her sleeve. Obsessed with anime and cosplay with an infectious desire to share her hobby with everyone, Gojo is taken in by Marin's unabashed love for the art and agrees to help her make the cosplay of her dreams. And that's the premise. Except that they're slowly falling in love? Yep, it's a rom-com, a damn good one at that. The jokes hit, it's bubbly and silly and fun, and from the outset, My Dress-Up Darling isn't afraid to be what it is. It leans heavy into all the tropes that make an anime rom-com fun without coming across as insincere or pandering. As far as dark-haired male anime MCs go, Gojo may just take the cake as being one of the few in a rom-com with any sort of agency. He has a goal and a set of passions outside of Marin's, and while he inevitably gets caught up in her world, he never forgets or loses sight of his own separate set of aspirations or obligations to his family, oftentimes trying to find a balance between his needs and desire to improve at doll making and his blooming relationship with Marin. Gojo is not your typical anime insert character. He's very much himself, and rather than feeling like a stand-in for the male audience, we are very much the audience to Gojo. It feels real, while also being silly and unbelievable in all the ways that a goofy show about making cosplay can be. Marin is no joke though. What makes Marin stand out from other top-tier anime girls this season and the ones before is how earnestly and innocently she pursues her hobby. The characters and cosplays she wants to wear may not be innocent, but her love for the medium as a whole certainly is, and that's enviable and relatable, and she owns up to it and any of the necessary embarrassment that may come with it, from stripping down or sharing her recommendations for eroge, things that most people would frame as embarrassing or touchy subjects. If it's in the name of her hobby, then shame or hesitation may as well not even exist for her. One way to look at it is if Gojo represents timidity and restraint, then Marin represents freedom and passion. They are two very real halves of the same coin, and the beauty in watching them interact is seeing how each half comes together to create a full and realized person. Marin's love for cosplay and otaku culture is her dominant trait. From her bedroom to her topics of conversation to how she spends her money, she lives for cosplay. She wants to be an anime girl. This vigor for life and her passion is exactly the kind of wake-up call that Gojo needed to get out of his shell. And while he may not want to be an anime girl himself, nerd, he does see Marin as exhibiting a joy for life that he's been lacking. She lifts him up. Gojo, on the other hand, grounds Marin. He brings her back to earth. He asks questions about family. He has a work ethic tied to persistence and patience, and has a relationship with food and history that gives him an air of experience that Marin's microwavable meals and colorful contact lenses seem to lack. This is the real joy in digesting this show. Aside from the upbeat openings and boobas and that sort of thing that seems to be mandatory in a show like this, the ties that bind these two together is infectious to watch, and while I seem to be making a habit out of watching rom-coms recently, I can't recommend this one enough.
そう、コスプレ。
So guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think about the show down below. And yeah, signing off now. Bye.